talking today about conflict. Conflict can make life a living hell. Conflict at work costs untold billions of dollars. And it costs lives of people that live their life dreading coming to work, live their life dreading going home. We're trying to change that at the organization that we started called Conflict Masters. Kind of an ambitious name, I know. But we took a look at what was currently out there in terms of addressing conflicts. Conflict management and conflict negotiation and conflict resolution. And I have a question for you, because I'm sure you've tried one or all of those things. Is your life any better now, this year? Any less conflictual than it was last year? And if the answer is, oh, gosh, I don't think so, then let me present our secret tool that we use in our consultations and our trainings. And I'll give it to you free, because it's one of those tools that's very simple and very hard to do. But first of all, let's take a look at how people traditionally look at conflict. Traditionally, they think that if you are in conflict with someone, the first step is for them to agree with you. And then once they agree with you, then they can understand your position that you're coming from, and then the two of you can go off in alignment and conquer the world. If they would just get out of your way and get behind you, then you and them could move forward. How's that working for you so far? My guess is that it's a little dicey sometimes. So what we've done is we've turned that pyramid on its top. And we've started where what you thought was the bottom. In other words, you begin with alignment. Once the two of you are aligned, then you can move on to understanding yourself and the other person. And finally, you can either get to agreement or you can get to a disagreement that is a creative disagreement. Because the object is not to fix everything and resolve everything so there's no more conflict. The object is to take conflict and create out of it, so that there are all new possibilities that come out of two people disagreeing. When people are in that place where they see that conflict is a way that they can build relationship and build creativity, then they actually come to celebrate it, because it means this is an opportunity for them to roll up their sleeves and to get to work at creating something new. Now, I'm guessing right now that there's a large grain of salt in your jaw listening to all this, because the problem isn't you. The problem is that idiot that you're in conflict with. That guy, gal is just so stubborn and so unwilling to listen to all the really important things you have to say. And I'm betting that inside the mind of that guy and gal are precisely the same words applied to you. So we're going to begin with a case example. Because all of this talk about, pyramids turned upside down don't make a lot of sense until you actually take a look at two people in conflict and how they resolve it using some of our techniques. Fred and Sally. Fred has been assigned to cut 15% across the board. We're in a recession. Every department gets that 15% cut, including Sally's sales department, and that means 3 or 4 salespeople are going to have to go. Probably a few of you out there are exactly in this position. On the other side of the conflict is Sally. Sally knows that getting rid of 3 or 4 salespeople would be a disaster to her department and a disaster to the company. She's well aware that salespeople bring in clients, and without clients or customers, there's a direct impact on the income. So cutting her department is cutting the throat of the company. And Fred and Sally have had 1 or 2 very heated and lively discussions. Finally, they both throw up their hands and call in conflict masters to get a little bit of help, to get this thing unstuck. So the first thing that we do is we sit down with Fred and Sally and we start taking a look at where is the place where they can meet. Where is the place where they can agree? So the first question we might ask is, so what are you proud of in terms of what you do for this company? And Fred says, I am proud of the attention to detail that I have that makes sure that every cent that comes into this company is accounted for. And Sally says, I am proud of the loyalty of my sales staff and I'm going to stay true to them. Okay, we haven't made much progress here. So we take one step up what we call the ladder towards alignment. Okay? And in the next rung up we say something like, so Fred, what's your biggest concern right now for the company? And Sally. And Fred says, well, we're in a recession right now. And in a recession, we have got to cut back in order to survive. And Sally says, you're right, Fred. We are in a recession right now. And if we don't bring in enough money to survive, then we're never going to get out of this. There's still a lot of disagreement here. So we take it up one step further. And we say, so Fred, what is the core reason inside you for fighting so hard for what you're fighting for? And Fred says, I want this company to survive. I love this company, I love what we're doing, and I want to see us make it. And Sally goes, me too. And now we have finally reached a level where the two of them share a value called the loving and caring about this company. From that place, we can start beginning to do some work. Because at that moment, when Sally said, me too, it was no longer one poor victimized martyr fighting with one complete idiot. But there were like two people, actually human beings, talking to each other. The next step we take is understanding. And understanding doesn't mean incredibly accurately articulating your point of view. Understanding means beginning to articulate the other person's point of view. We use a number of techniques to have the person step into the other's shoes and make a statement about how the other person sees this situation and the company as a whole. And when they're able to speak in a way that the other person says, yes, you got it, that is where I stand, then we're able to move down to the step called agreement or disagreement. An agreement or disagreement may look like Sally says, I am never going to let go of one of my sales force. And Fred may say, I must have a 15% cut. But what may come out of that is Fred might, in one example, Fred might say, okay, look it. The 15% cut stays and I can release a little extra money for bonus money as an incentive for your sales force. And Sally says, I am going to try like heck to keep hold of every single one of my sales force, even if that means cutting back on their incentive program or having them work less time, and I'll use that bonus to incent large sales transactions. So they're working together as a team. Maybe Sally will never like Fred, and maybe Fred will never like Sally. This has nothing to do with liking each other, but what it has to do with is using creative conflict to get to places that you wouldn't have gotten to any other place, any other way. So if you're interested in that kind of approach, you can contact us. You can contact my partner, Yara Mitzrai. Oh, God, she's going to kill me for that. You know, I call her Yara all the time. Yara Mitzrai. And you can contact her at yarathecoach.com. That's Y-A-R-A, thecoach.com. Or contact me, David Skibbons, at coachdvd@aol.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'd love to chat with you about any kind of thoughts you might have about this tape or about conflicts that you're facing. Thank you.